All right, we are back. Okay, I apologize for that, you guys. So we're talking about Zelensky and Donald Trump's meeting yesterday that went sideways, and my hypothesis that the deep state intelligence agencies and a bunch of collaborating Trump enemies set that up so that the meeting not only would blow up the deal, but would also look like big conflict to the global community who's watching. I think this is a two purposed a thing with two purposes, which is A, to make Trump look like a less sure, erratic leader who is not able to take decisive action and get things done. In my opinion, the exact opposite of what we are actually looking at. I think that they also don't want them to do a deal. Obviously, if the intelligence community and the deep state that drove this entire thing from the beginning wanted peace, then we probably would have had peace from the beginning. I think that those people are so flippant with human life that it is something that could maybe happen to me at some point if I was in a role like that for 20, 30, 40 years, where the decisions that I made were leading to so many people dying that at a certain point they just stop being actual humans, and I just am making decisions based on things. And I tell myself either I am a great white shark that eats other humans, or greater good, or some other thing that I tell myself that makes me not want to, be on the wrong side of a firearm in my mouth every morning when I think about all the children and women that I'm responsible for killing. You know what I mean? But Nikki Lynn, thank you very much for the super chat. But in terms of how everyone is viewing this meeting is really kind of where I want to get to, because it just demonstrates this massive calamity of, or the result of what happens when it's like the Democrats are our enemies and they're like, nope, the MAGA Republicans are our enemies. Where if you really let that sink into your brain in a way where that's how you view everything, you're going to miss what is much deeper going on at a lot of times. So in this example that I'm trying to get to, it's like, if you're another country, okay, and you look at this situation, the United States goes into Ukraine and is like, hey, we're your friend. We're going to create this government over here that's going to be easy for us to negotiate with. All it is just, put in a group that's in charge, that's going to control the population and is going to do deals with us and is going to give us the natural resources and not allow our global adversaries to get those resources and make them, gain power on the global chessboard through energy distribution, whatever, all of these like things that they're doing. But we, to everybody else, we went in and put that government in and propped them up. We did that. And when that led to an all-out war, okay, what we did is we said, we got you, and we gave them weapons and weapons and weapons. And by doing that, the government that we put in is sending, I don't even know what the numbers are. How many Ukrainians have died? How many Ukrainian casualties? There have been 14,000, a million casualties total during the Russian invasion of Ukraine until mid-September 2024. So many more than that. Okay. So 7-figure deaths, which is based on us creating a government, propping it up, and then telling them, we've got you. Okay. It's not Americans over there dying. It's Ukrainian people there dying. And and listen, this is the bigger point that I made in the earlier stream that I had to shut down, is I have no idea if there is some much bigger thing going on here that I don't have the intelligence, like, like military or kind of global intelligence, or just the ability to assess, like there might be these bigger agendas that I am unaware of, but I do not believe there is a compelling reason why we should be behaving the way that we do on an international scale or stage in terms of like creating war. Like if you really look at, like if you really want to know why Russia, this small country, is considered this huge issue at home. Okay, it's not just because they're the former Soviet Union, right? You have the former Soviet Union that became Russia, and really their economy's not very big. They don't spend that much money, but like, so why are they such a big deal? Oh, they have, they do energy exports. Okay, yeah, that's true. But if you really think about the countries that are kind of like the important countries, right? Like there are some countries that are like the important countries. They are one of the countries that will take military action. They're the ones who are involved in wars and have been periodically for, the last however many decades. When has China, like China has a big ass military. When has China been hitting countries with like precision missiles? When have they had troops on the ground in another country that's not China, right? Like Chinese have a big stick. They don't go out and do that. Russia does. Okay, and obviously we do more than anybody, but like, that's why Russia's a big deal. So I think we should be scaling that back as much as possible. I don't know why we want to send anyone to die. I don't know why we want to create a bunch of people dying for, you guys, I'm aligned with Trump's vision on how we should interact with the international community. But the promise that we were going to support them was made by the United States. It wasn't made by, it's made by the Biden administration that you could make a very strong argument appeared to have been compromised on the internet, like internationally, with so many different people that you could absolutely get to a point where you are like, yeah, I think that they might have even been like intentionally working against the interests of the United States in some cases, maybe not this one. This could just be pure greed, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, all these people went and fought and died based on a promise that we were going to support them as much as they needed. And Zelensky, as much as he's this propped up actor that we made the leader because we probably thought he'd look good in photo ops, and then we got him on the Academy Awards. Like, obviously he was created by us, but he is also the leader in Ukraine. So it's not like it's not an understandable thing for him to be very frustrated when the new administration pulls the support, right? But the thing is, frustrated or not, unless he is a fucking moron, he has to know that if he goes in there and does what he did in that meeting, that it's good. What do you think's going to happen, dude? You think you're going to argue with Trump and then he's going to change his mind? You go in there, Trump, Trump, and Trump. What you think? Have you been watching the last 8 years? That guy is no one can punk Trump, dude. No one. Trump is the least punkable guy on earth. I'm not even saying that like some meathead tough guy is all, you can't punk that guy. I'm like, dude, he will never take a backward step ever. He won't do it. No matter what you do, that guy does not even, it never even crosses his mind that strategically he should take a temporary back step so he can reassess. That shit doesn't exist. He only goes forward. He's a fucking sledgehammer. Everyone's a nail if they make themselves into a nail, and he's ready to hammer them. Like, there was no way that coming in with forceful language was going to lead to, I don't know what he was. And so unless Zelensky's an idiot, I mean, he has to know, okay, what's the outcome going to be? We're going to fucking remove you. Like, you're just not going to be the leader of Ukraine anymore. Now, he might think he has enough money that doesn't matter, but like, have you been watching this movie? You seen what they did to Diddy? You see what they did to Andrew Tate in Romania? You think that these people can't either kill you or put you in the slammer in 1 second? So my point is, for him to go in there and behave that way, he had to have someone, again, my opinion, had to have someone else in his ear, someone else that he thinks is big enough to give him a green light to go in and behave like that. You know what I mean? Because obviously there's a lot that's been going on in Ukraine that is not on the television or even on the internet. Because we like get bits and pieces, but we don't know, we don't really know who specifically is doing these things. I mean, if $350 billion goes from point A to point B in a few years, then you can rest assured that it's like the most powerful people in the world who are, up there with the strings. Like, and now with the Doge thing, you can see that there was an intentional lack of oversight in terms of like us distributing money. Okay. Well, guess what that means, right? That means there are people at the top that where money is not if they can just $350 million or $350 billion going over there. It's like, hey, where's this stuff going? No one knows. Oh, what about this? Oh, just $50 billion over here. Oh, $10 billion over here. 50 billion. Like, there is this group that is doing things on their own, and they've had unlimited money with no oversight. So there's someone that's been interacting with Zalinsky, not to mention, imagine the theft that's going, Zelensky's in charge over there, and that, they're robbing it blind. You think there's no Americans robbing that money blind? Also, I can guarantee you there are. Or people that just don't even have a country. They're just like these entities that kind of float above the country system, like George Soros. I am thinking that, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But point is, blowing up that deal in their mind makes Trump look like he's a less effective leader than if they go in, they have that conversation, he ends the conflict, and then they have a deal in place, and we get this, this great mineral deal, Ukraine, whatever, give Putin some land back, whatever, it's over now. Okay. This small piece of land that had like these Russian speakers, if that's really what this was about on the Russian side, I doubt it. There's probably some, some port there or fucking whatever. But we wrap this thing up. We get this big mineral deal done. Zelensky's going to end up getting removed from power now because of that meeting yesterday. So again, I don't think he's retarded. I think that someone else is in his ear sabotaging this thing on purpose. And, that's my hypothesis on that, because immediately, all you've heard across the, on the Democrat side, they're like, Donald Trump is clearly compromised with Russia. It's like, we're doing this again, guys. We're doing this. But it's not hard to understand why it would appear that way initially when he gets into office and he immediately is like, hey, maybe we'll take over Canada. Fuck you, Trudeau. We're going to take over you guys. Mexico, trade embargo. I know what he's doing. He's negotiating, right? I fully support what he's doing, 100%. I'm purely talking about optics, right? So he comes in. There are all these absolutely unexplainable deals in place, right? Like unexplainable deals where he said, basically what he said was, when we start looking at these, whoever made these deals had to have been compromised. Had to have been. There's no way that anyone would have made this deal if they were negotiating on behalf of the United States. So he's going in and he's like, okay, fuck this, the Panama Canal. Yeah, right. Fuck you. Like, we built this and gave it to you, and now you're giving it to China. No, we'll just take it back. And then people are like, when they asked him, hey, are you saying that maybe using the military is on the table? He's like, absolutely. And then they're like, oh my God, he's a war president. He's gonna blow up the Panama Canal. It's like, God, you guys, he's negotiating. If he comes out and says, yeah, there's no scenario where we're going to use violence while we have the biggest military in the history of the world, time, like by a factor of 1,000. Okay. Blow you up has to be on the table all the time to negotiate. Okay. So he's trying to fix these deals. But again, optically, for other countries, they look and it's like, so he gets in office, he slams, Canada, he's fucking with Mexico, the European Union, like with NATO, he's breaking their balls. And I think he should. And then he's like, and now, with Ukraine, this is what we're doing here. They say to Zalinsky, go blow this fucking thing up. And now it does start to look like he's abandoning all of our allies and then doing things that are, positive for Putin, when in reality, what he's doing is he is unfucking all these deals that got put in place by corrupt or absolutely incompetent politicians before, whose only actual goal was to get elected because they're either narcissists or they wanted to fucking rob this place blind, but they don't actually care about the United States longevity, or don't think anything they're going to do is actually going to have a big enough impact for them to have to worry about. So they're kind of like, all right, yeah, I'll do this one, whatever. Oh, but what's my kickback? Whatever. And you do that, you multiply that times the entire fucking government, and you got a lot of shit to unfuck. You know what I mean? So that's what you're looking at with Trump, is him trying to unfuck all this stuff. But optically, you understand why they're going to run with that narrative. DC, thank you very much, dude. Kash Patel's fake girlfriend is his Mossad handler. I don't know anything about that. Thank you for the super chat. Greg Schuster, Zalinsky is a black belt at School of Self, gay baby jail. He's playing 5D chess and has us right where Fabio wants us. Fabio is the CIA. It's possible, dude. I mean, you know, if the inside job was Fabio running him, then yeah, that probably went exactly as they intended. And Fabio thinks he's going to like take over the World Economic Forum if Zelensky gets hit with a fucking smart bomb. Jody Nimmons, thank you very much. Zelensky wants USA funding war. Doesn't exactly. Well, yes, for sure. But again, to behave that way, he would have had to, like, it's either he's either stupid and has no ability to assess people, because anyone who has fucking level 1 ability to like look at who you're going to be talking to and try to predict how they'll react to a certain way of approaching them would know you don't yell at Trump in that meeting under any circumstances. And you need to go in grateful. And if you want to, you know, like, what's your end game? People are so fucking childish. I talk about this all the time in terms of how they approach problem solving, where it's like, okay, what's the goal that you want? This is what you want. And it's like, okay, and the thing that stands between you and that is this person. And like, they have to decide to give you what you want. Okay. And I tell my kids this all the time, right? When they would, well, and I don't have to tell them anymore because they've learned this. Every time they would ask for something, and I would kind of prod around asking them why I should give that to them. And if, you know, most of the time they would start, their default would be because they want it. Because I want that. And it's on purpose. And every time I'd be like, hey, for your future reference, no one gives a fuck what you want. Okay. Obviously, I have actually said it just like that sometimes for emphasis. Like, when you get into the real world, okay, I care what you want because I'm your dad. Right. But I don't want to set a parenting precedent that I'm ever giving you something just because you want it. I'll give you things because you need it. I'm bulletproof on that. You need that thing, I got you. You want that? You better come up with a reason that's more compelling than you want that, because literally no one on planet Earth is ever going to care about what you want unless, you know, they really genuinely like you or whatever, but just like So my point is, you need to think about what's going to get this person to give you the thing that you want. Go in, yell in that meeting is like, not only are you not going to get what you want, you're going to get the exact opposite of what you want for 100% sure. And then he's going to get rid of you. So I don't believe he's that incompetent to not see that, you know. Sunday Living, thank you very much. Having good allies important. Our allies right now are Putin and North Korea. I mean, I don't know about that, dude. Hard to defend and a weak stance, not a good look. Okay, so if you would have just left it at right now our allies are Putin, I would have been like, okay, I can understand at least the appearance that we seem to be aligning with Russia to try to end this conflict in Ukraine. Maybe. But they're definitely not our ally. Okay, having an open dialogue with another world leader who happens to have the largest thermonuclear weapons cache on Earth, that's just good governance. And having an open relationship with China, who is the other global financial superpower and produces literally every single thing that we do here. If they decided that they wanted to like really go to war with us, they cut off our pharmaceuticals. Okay. I think it's like 93% of our pharmaceuticals are manufactured in China. Hey, how do you think the United States does if all of a sudden no one can get any prescriptions, dude? Is that a pretty strong leverage point? Hey, how about like all of the stuff that they build for us? Imagine just, boop. Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Okay, you need to have like good relationships regardless of what the status is. Now, with North Korea, they are fundamentally irrelevant aside from one thing, which is that they have nukes. The only reason they even exist to us from a strategic standpoint is because they have nukes. anything that Trump does with Kim Jong is straight towards a single goal, which is making sure that that guy does not shoot anybody with a nuke. That's it. That's the only reason that North Korea even matters. Those guys were the one country that I'm aware of that when that EQ Khan guy from Pakistan who got the plans on how to build atomic bombs, they built one in Pakistan and they were selling that knowledge. They sold it to Libya and a couple others. They sold it to Australia, and then Australia decided they didn't even want nukes. So North Korea, unless I'm mistaken, is the only country that bought those plans, had EQ Khan show them how to do it, and then they successfully built an active nuclear program. Okay. But aside from that, they have absolutely no geopolitical nothing. They are completely irrelevant. And saying Trump is making an ally of North Korea is retarded. He's nice to them because if, again, a person has nukes, you want to be able to speak to them so that you can make sure they don't, like what, in my opinion, I've never understood, like that whole North Korea thing was a perfect example of how the old guard did everything that I have always disagreed with. Okay. They're like, cut them off. Don't talk to them, like block their shipments of food, just do anything you can to make life challenging in North Korea. And you're like, or just have a conversation with the guy. Do you know a lot of friends of yours that are going to, burn your house down? I don't. If I starve a guy's family, then maybe they might want to burn my house down. You know what I mean? I don't understand it. It's like because we're so strong. The United States is so strong from a financial and military standpoint that it's like, the threat of what we can do, I don't know. I mean, look, you have to give people the stick sometimes, but I've never understood how just constant barrage of negative propaganda and that kind of thing is just like it's like the one size fits all. That's the only way we know how to do this, And Trump was like, no, it's good. I'll go have a conversation with him. And he goes up there, you have the North Korean flag, the United States flag. They have a conversation and everyone's like, I just absolutely disagree with Donald Trump's approach here. I mean, he had a stage with North Korea and the United States. Their flags are up there. He's giving a platform to the North Korean communist hellscape and this dangerous dictator up there. And you're like, guys, literally, he is having this conversation to make sure that they don't blow up the world. Okay. There's no stage you're going to put Kim Jong-un on that is going to make them matter for any other reason on earth than the fact that they have nukes. They have the shittier part of Korea in terms of land. Their economy is non-existent. They have fake fucking food in their grocery stores. Okay. As much as they yell about stuff, they are aware that we would evaporate their entire country in one strike if we decided to. Okay, like these guys, they are just like a potential big death problem, and that's it. And I think Trump handled them very well. And it pissed me off when people acted like having a conversation with a foreign leader was some kind of mistake strategically. It's so fucking dumb. It's dumb. It's a fucking dumb argument. And it always is a dumb argument. You want to make deals. You don't want to murder children. Okay. Make a deal, murder children. Don't tell me that dead kids don't matter because they don't speak English. I don't like that fucking argument. Anyway, Zelensky put a hit on Lex Luthor, FFS. I don't know what that means, but what's up, RC? I saw Lex Friedman went hard on Zalinsky last night. James Anderson, thank you very much. And Christopher gifted 5 memberships. You guys, some 5 people have new memberships. There's a lot of content over members only. Thank you very much, Chris. You're the man, dude. And James, thank you very much, dude. Dan Bongo Head, dearest, cause is Israel #1. Again, this is one of those ones where I'm like, have you ever seen him talk? Because he looks like the least compromisable person I've ever seen. Why don't we bring this same energy with Netanyahu? Are you serious? Is that a serious question? Like, because it's Israel. Like, Slightly different situation there. Ukraine is a corrupt former Soviet Union country that has some valuable land, minerals, and energy. Israel is like our one major foothold in the Middle East, which is the most important strategic area on planet Earth. And Israel has tremendous power, as anybody is aware, especially all the people who hate Israel. Like, you hate them because they're so powerful, right? Well, that they are that for a multitude of reasons. But like, I mean, that's why we don't have the same energy. I'm not like talking shit or anything. I'm just saying like that's why. I'm not saying it's a good thing, bad thing, whatever. MAGA girl here. Trump is the best. Zell, no respect. What's up, Jody? Thank you very much. I mean, again, I just think someone told him to do that, is what I think. Israel did 9/11, was caught red-handed. I have seen documentaries about that. I am more of the opinion that if 9/11 was an inside, I think you got like, there's the official story, which is, bin Laden and these guys did it, possible, and then you have the other side, which is inside job. I think there is decently strong evidence that there were people from those from that particular country also involved in setting it up. Because my theory on why we would have done it, I've said this a million times on the channel. I will continue to say it because it is incredibly important that if you're going to talk conspiracy, you need to start at what is a compelling enough reason that this group of conspirators would have done the thing that you're saying that they did. That's why flat earth is the dumbest fucking theory of all time. Wait, so why would everyone conspire to lie about the world being round? Come on, man. Come on. You know why. No, I definitely do not know why. Because, dude, it disproves God if it's round. I'm like, and that is, and right at that moment, you can assess whether or not that is a compelling enough reason where you should continue the conversation with the person that you're having, and like it's in a serious fashion, where you're like, all right, that's not very compelling in my mind. But a very compelling reason that we would have done 9/11 is forthcoming if you've never heard me talk about it, okay? So when the Soviet Union ceased to exist overnight, and the Berlin Wall came down, okay, they had the largest nuclear stockpile in the history of the world. And they also, all of a sudden, in all of these secure military, installations, had no bosses, okay? So like the person who is at said military base always is calling the Kremlin, checking in, whatever, they're talking back and forth, whatever. And if you've ever read anything about this, the way that this happened was just, all of a sudden, there's no one home. There's no one at the fucking Kremlin, okay? And the Soviet system, if you've never watched Chernobyl on HBO Max, you should definitely watch that, because it's like, it's one thing to, I don't know, it's one thing to read about how those systems led to institutionalized just lies, like this weird thing of not just lies, but how they lied, where no matter what's going on, if the truth would indicate that the Soviet Union was anything other than the most incredible paradise with perfection everywhere, then you couldn't say the truth. And so it was just this compiled, nonsensical fucking thing of lies. But so anyway, point being is, all of a sudden that entire infrastructure's gone, and you are now the fucking boss, and you've got $50 billion, $100 billion of military equipment under your care. It's like, what do you want to do with it? You're like, what do you mean? It's like, you're going to wait for a while, and then at a certain point, you're going to realize there's really no one calling. The government doesn't exist anymore. Who owns this? It's like, no one owns this. The government doesn't exist anymore. So they started selling it. That's where all the AKs in Africa came from. That's where, you could buy anything, right? You could buy fucking anything. And again, anyone who has read a lot about this knows that if you think that means, that the nuclear weapons were this different thing that people were not allowed or not able to buy, absolutely incorrect. 100% not accurate. And The scariest piece of that entire story is that there were a million different delivery systems that we built for nuclear weapons, bombs, missiles, guns, like like those big 88s, the big 88 guns that the Germans had in World War II. We had like one of those, but it shoots an atomic bomb and it blows up on the other side of the battlefield. They built a nuclear football, an actual fucking football that you could throw. Okay. Obviously not really great, in the actual battlefield, since the person holding it is 1000% going to die, but they built it because why would you not? And well, I guess the reason you wouldn't is because it's fucking stupid, but nonetheless, right? But one thing Russia built was they built suitcase nukes. And what that means is they were fucking suitcases intentionally made to look like luggage that any person would travel with. Okay. It's literally a suitcase, except inside of it is an atomic bomb about the size of the Hiroshima bomb. Okay. So they had 93 of those go missing, gone. They have no fucking idea where they are. 93 of those. This is not even remotely disputed anywhere. That's a fact. Okay. Not only have I read all about it, I've actually seen the Russian general talking at the UN in the late 90s about how they have no idea where these 93 suitcase nukes are. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, so explain to me what the suitcase means. And the guy's like, it's literally a suitcase. He's like, it's a suitcase. So 93 missing suitcase nukes, right? So if you get intelligence, if you're in a position like Dick Cheney, Rumsfeld, those guys, and you get intelligence that there is a Muslim radical group, a group of former people you funded in a war against Russia, and then you pulled their funding, and there was all kinds of reasons that suddenly now America's the great Satan, whatever, and they turned on us, and they have a lot of money coming, or a lot of money in budget, because they have this member of the bin Laden family who left Saudi Arabia and is now like running things for them, and he's worth like $1 billion. And they're shopping around for nukes because they have a plan. They want to hit multiple U.S. cities in the same day to destroy the United States. That's their plan of how they can actually beat us, is they want to get dirty bombs or actual atomic weapons and blow them up simultaneously in 3 to 6 cities. What do you do with that, dude? Okay. What the fuck do you do with that intelligence? He's like, how serious is this? They're 100% serious. Okay. Well, what do we know about the likelihood of whether they were going to be able to buy these atomic weapons? It's like, well, we know for sure there's 93 missing suitcase nukes. We have no idea where they are. They're inevitably on the black market somewhere. And aside from that, we basically have no leads. It's like, okay, so what are our options? It's like, basically we need to round up everyone who's ever even met with someone from that organization or any other. And we need to fucking break their toenails, rip their toenails off and bleed their eyeballs and make them tell us everything they know, so we can make 100% certain that we go and get those atomic bombs back. Okay. Well, you can't tell that to the American people, because you certainly cannot tell the American people that there is an absolutely real imminent threat of atomic bombs blowing up multiple American cities. What do you think happens if you go on the television and tell that story? Okay. The economy collapses instantly. Everyone flees all of the cities. It'd be fucking mass chaos. So, and also, who knows? Like, they might not even believe the story, because if you were like, so what we need to do is we need to go torture a bunch of people, if you believe that's what you have to do. And they're like, the American people are not going to go for that. Hey, how'd everybody feel about torturing people after they watched the fucking towers come down? Pretty fucking comfortable. I am pretty comfortable with you doing whatever you need to do, guys. Go black bag them up, dude. Put them in a box. Waterboarding sounds fun compared to what I'm comfortable with if you need to do that to get these motherfuckers. That's been my theory. If we did 9/11, that's why, in my opinion. And that's an easy fucking choice to make. If that's really what you're looking at, for real, that's what you're looking at. You're Dick Cheney, Rumsfeld, whoever. And you're looking at this situation, and it's like, what's the likelihood that they're going to successfully be able to smuggle one of those things into the United States? It's like, I mean, if they buy 8 of them, it is absolutely certain they'll get at least 4 of them in, if not 7. We don't have any way to track this stuff. There's way too many ways to get in. These guys are way too good at getting in. They smuggle in people all the time. They're going to be able to get them in. They're a suitcase. Okay. And it's like, we need to give the American people a spectacle big enough that they support what we need to do here, because in reality, what we're doing is protecting the entire world. If 4 fucking nukes go off in American cities all at once, that's the end of the world, you know? So again, bringing that all the way back around, if that is what it was. And we, I mean, the thing that Israel is most tight knit with us on in the intelligence community is about nuclear proliferation. I saw Andrew Bustamante actually say that in an interview the other day. And because they're worried about a nuclear armed Iran for obvious reasons. Christopher, thank you very much, dude. Old Daying Cobber, those that matter don't mind those that matter. What? Just okay. I'm sorry. Old Daying Cobber, those that matter don't mind those that mind don't matter. Just a thing I live with. Dude, I apologize if that says something obvious. I can't really but I like it, dude. Thank you for the super chat. And Jody Nimmons, welcome to the membership. You're going to love it. Catherine, thank you very much. As someone from the UK, Europe doesn't have a leg to stand on. Ukraine has demilitarized all of Europe. That includes the billions still being handed over to the Green Goblin. The UK people are with Trump. I mean, that's good. I can understand why, you know. They really went hard in your country too, those globalists, dude. Thank you for the super chat. Just Bob, Zelensky loses power if the war ends. He wants to keep power at any cost, including his people. Oh, including like people dying. I mean, listen, dude, if staying in power is what his goal is, I can tell you that there's nothing he could have done that would have been worse towards retaining power than what he did yesterday. I mean, that's just what it is, dude. Like, check this out. Okay, like Lindsey Graham, unless I am creating false memories, I've always thought of as one of the Republicans that was very supportive of the Ukraine thing. And I saw him in a video, he called Trump heroic. And finally someone showing how to stand up for America. Which is probably because he's scared shitless of Trump too, honestly. Elsie Lamoureux, thank you very much. Bill and Hillary Clinton mafia, domestic terrorists are using the American bureaucracy, the deep state, to launder money back themselves from the Ukraine war. Billions every. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't even know who the names are, but that's certainly happening. Certainly happening. Here's the other thing too, dude. You want to know what's crazy? We haven't talked about this yet very much, but I think I mentioned it on the live stream briefly, but there's a new report out that Jeffrey Epstein was a co-founder of the Clinton Foundation. Which, if that's true, okay, if that's true, then the Clinton connection to him is, I think, different than we thought, you know. Then that could, or I mean, might be. That could indicate that, because Epstein's working for someone very powerful. You know, Epstein obviously was working for someone very, very, very powerful. And I think everybody assumed that he had the Clintons by the balls, which is totally possible. It's also possible that they were like funding him. You know, who knows what the hell was going on with the Clinton Foundation. I mean, even me having the temperament that I have, if I was in government and someone's all, hey, we need someone to go ahead and, investigate the Clinton Foundation. We need them out front. We need them to be very visible. We need you to investigate all the stuff the Clinton Foundation did. I'd be like, fuck that shit, dude. Are you out of your mind? Why don't you ask me to see if I can skydive off a 500-foot cliff without a parachute, just see if I can live? Like, I'm not getting whacked out by Hillary Clinton. Fuck that shit. What's done is done, dude. Let's just, find something like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm that scared of her, dude. Katie Ferguson, thank you for the super chat. And RC Adventures, thank you again. Zelensky wants another Viren for the miss. I mean, he must have gotten so much money from this shit. DC, thank you again. Levant Affair, USS Liberty, 9/11, Epstein Island. Oh, you mean like blow it up? Wait. Levant affair, USS Liberty. Not, the USS Liberty, you're talking about when Israel attacked our battleship and it got covered up? That's a crazy ass story. I mean, they didn't do it on purpose, but the fact that we covered that up, they killed I think they killed like 200 or so, I don't know. Anyway, Sunday Living, thank you very much. Russia stops fighting, there is no more war. Ukraine stops fighting, there is no more Ukraine. It's pretty simple, actually. Russia started this by invading in 2014. Even Hegseth said it. Again, I will preface all of this by stating again that I do not claim to be an expert on the intricacies of the history of the, relationship between Russia and Ukraine in the post-Soviet world. Like if I tell you again, I am an expert on nuclear proliferation and all that. I know that stuff. This I don't. And so, I mean, I know just enough to be able to have like a halfway competent conversation about it. But one thing that I've heard people much smarter than me continue to, point attention to is the fact that we had given Russia guarantees about, I don't even know how many countries that we would not, move east and bring any additional countries into NATO. And we keep on just doing it. We promised them we wouldn't, and we just do it. We promised them we wouldn't, and we just do it. Promise them we won't do it, then we do it. And then finally, Ukraine is a border country, and they're like, okay, it's enough. It's enough. I mean, at the end of the day, listen, like one thing that really kind of bothers me about how this whole thing has played out in general is it just solidifies that people cannot trust the United States because the administration switch and they will do a 180 on things. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't. In the case of Trump, I think he is cleaning up a horrendous mess. But again, like to the international community, like in my opinion, we are in a position where we can't lose superpower status at this point. Okay. Like if something happened and our economy blew up, like really, we were like in a really bad spot and we're looking for like we actually are not in the strongest leverage position of all time, which hopefully doesn't happen during any of, my children's lifetimes or whatever. But if that ever happened and we were in like a really bad spot, we're going to be looking around for like people that'll, work with us and they're going to go, we're going to be like, come on, man, you made that deal. Like you said that you wouldn't do that. And if they have the ability to tell us to go fuck ourselves, they're going to be like, hey, it doesn't feel good, does it? Doesn't feel very good, huh? Having people make promises to you, countries make promises to you, and then just saying, what are you going to do about it, guy? It doesn't feel very good. Hey, should we run through the number of times you guys did that to other people? You know what I mean? So that part is true. Just continually moving east. But again, like that's what's so ridiculous about this entire thing. If you read left-wing media, they're going to say that Trump is in the pocket of Vladimir Putin, which doesn't even make sense. Like it doesn't even make sense. Trump's in the pocket of Putin. Why? You know what I mean? Like, why would Trump be in the pocket of Putin? Does anybody ever actually think about this stuff? It's the same thing as like what I was talking about with North Korea. Oh, you should never platform a crazy leader like Kim Jong-un. You're all, why? Like, these are just like sound bites, propaganda nonsense that go in the ear and people just start regurgitating them and they just don't even think. Why does it matter if you put that chubby little fucking munchkin on a stage with Trump? It's because we did a fucking photo op together. Now he's suddenly going to be the most powerful dictator in the world. Did that increase his military budget? Did that increase his access to fucking foreign produced energy? Okay, like it's ridiculous. He has no difference in his power or prestige at all. He's there because he has nukes. And then this shit, you know what I mean? It's like he's in the pocket of Putin. Why the fuck would he be in the pocket of Putin? What the hell does he need from Putin? He's negotiating with him just like he's negotiating with other people. And he doesn't think, like I don't think, that the right way to interact with adversarial countries that might go to war and have nukes or have you by the economic balls is to run 24/7 propaganda. They are the aggressors. They are the worst. Putin is a fucking piece of shit. Anybody who has a conversation with him is just as bad. I heard he's a white supremacist. Okay. There's not one redeeming quality about this guy at all. You're like, that's fucking dumb. It's dumb. Go talk to the guy. Constitution Network, thank you. Zalinsky was a distraction. Pam rated SDNY FBI. Listen, I like where your head's at. However, I think those two things are happening independent of each other. Okay. Like the government, there's a lot going on, dude. There's a lot of hands in a lot of different places. And I don't see how, like, why would Pam want to distract from the fact that she raided the New York FBI? I don't see why there's any reason for them to want to distract from that. And if honestly, if you look at the weight, how big of a deal those two things are. So like Pam Bondi, raids the New York FBI versus that happened between Zelensky and Trump. You're like, Zelensky and Trump thing is 5,000 times bigger deal than Pam Bondi going to the New York FBI and demanding all these files. Because here's what I think about the Epstein thing, right? People think because you look at these institutions, you think that, so they grabbed all of the evidence from Epstein and they brought it here. And because there's like bureaucracy and all this stuff, somewhere there is that evidence that's like on official ground, like they could give it up if they wanted to. And I want to bring you back to the example I just gave you guys about the former Soviet generals who ended up selling off all the weapons. Okay. There are parts of the government where you have genuine autonomy to do what you want. Okay. And in many cases, the people who are in those positions are above the government anyway. Like they're the kinds of people that are interacting with like the world creators, BlackRock guys, the fucking central bankers, these people who literally run the entire world. And they're like, the reason that guy's the director of the FBI is because he has those relationships. They know they can trust him, right? So you go grab all of that Epstein evidence. You go get all that stuff, right? Someone at the FBI is going to get possession of that stuff. And what I'm saying is I'm sure deals were made and that single individual person is the one who has that stuff somewhere and they're not giving it up for anything, like would be my guess. That's what I would guess. It's like Comey or like, I don't know who's, or actually, Comey was out of office, but he probably knows where it is. But like that absolute upper echelon guys, they're making deals no one's ever going to hear about. And you're not going to get access to those videos. Like we're not going to see those tapes, dude. We're not going to see those tapes. Here's the other thing about it. I just want to know what billionaires, Hollywood people, or government people bang kids. That's all I want to know. Okay. I just want to know who the kitty diddlers are so that we can exorcise them from society. Outside of that, like I don't need to know anything else. That's all I want to know. On the doing what's best for the United States front, foreign policy or any other place. It is outside of digging up the PDFers. There is nothing but downside in releasing all of that stuff to the American people. And the reason for that is because each piece of compromising evidence is insanely valuable right up until you release it. The second you release it, it has no more value. The value is gone. It goes from whatever it's worth to zero, just like that. The entire value is the fact that no one's seen it. And so, as an example, let's say that Candace Owens had never done Becoming Brigitte Macron, and you are in possession of absolutely bulletproof evidence that Brigitte Macron is not only a man, but also, had sex with, what's his name, Macron, when he was 14 years old. Okay. And you need France to do a thing that you want them to do. Okay. He's the fucking president. And it's like, you could try to, entice him into doing it with this, that, hey, we'll give France a position on whatever. But it's like an in emergency break glass. You're all, well, I didn't really want to do this, but unless you want the entire world to know that your best friend, the person most close to you in the world is not only not a woman, it's a man, but also is a PDF file, I think you're going to probably want to push it the direction that we're asking you to do it. Like, that's why this stuff has value, is because they are the most powerful people in the world. And if you have blackmail, they'll do what you fucking tell them to do. Now, would you rather know what those things are? Or would you rather have Trump have that in his back pocket as a negotiating chip as he goes and tries to fix the world? I would rather him have the chip, but I can't let it slide on the kitty diddlers. So, I mean, anyway. Straight shooter, thank you very much. Zelensky doesn't want the cash flow for him and his buddies drying up. Used to hear news of Ukraine among the most corrupt place on earth. Now, oh, yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, I've always heard that. I've always heard that it's the most corrupt place in the world. And, but again, I don't think that what we're seeing yesterday was that. Like, if 300 something billion dollars, again, goes from A to B, and B over here is in a leadership position, and there are people stealing because there 100% are. Okay, if you're the thieves, the master thieves, you want him stealing. You want him stealing. You know why? Exactly what we just talked about. Exactly what we just talked about. You want him to help you launder money and send it back, whatever dirty stuff is going on over there. Well, you need a dirty guy, because you're asking him to do it dirty. You need to know that you can trust him. How do you know that you trust him? Because he's robbing this shit too. And you're talking billions and billions of dollars. Like, he probably has. I mean, of course, you always want more money, but I mean, there's no such thing as enough money. Well, there is, but of course you want more money. But again, I really think that there's something else driving that is exactly what I think it's what I said, which is undermine Trump, make him look like an ineffective leader, and potentially blow that deal up. Appreciate your super chat, good sir. I'm not going to read that out loud and get this thing demonetized though. Chanta Hanesana, thank you very much. The New York FBI disobeyed the president order to release the Epstein files, civil war. No, Epstein was FBI informant. Watch video, Benny Johnson. Yeah, I know. And I watched a little bit of it this morning about the guy who was saying that he thinks that they're protecting Wall Street. And that's probably also partially true. But again, I think it might not be like the FBI that's disobeying the order. I think it might be 1 to 2 leadership people who I would be surprised if they're still in leadership. Like, I would be very surprised if the official FBI New York is withholding that stuff. And I would be much more, well, I mean, again, it's just a hypothesis. I have no idea. But if I had to guess, I would say this is almost certainly off the books shit. This is off the books shit. Because, I mean, you guys know who's almost certainly on those tapes, right? The whole point is to get the most powerful people on there, right? Thank you for the super chat, DC. Appreciate you. Okay. Obviously, EPS 10 obviously work for Israel. Don't be a Dan Bongo head. Israel is not our ally. Yes, they are. They're all lies. USS Liberty, 100% on purpose. What? Okay, again, you're talking conspiracy now. Back it up. What would Israel's desired outcome be to attack an American battleship that is there to protect them? Why would they do that? Versus it being mistaken identity, as was reported. Lamoureux, thank you very much for the super chat. Bill Clinton owned and operated all of Epstein's operations. Hugh Rodham, Hillary's father, a mobster, ran extortions, sex scams. Hillary followed her father. I mean, again, there's no way to know that for sure. But if, again, like I was saying earlier, if they co-founded the Clinton Foundation, how much money let me see something. How much money did the Clinton Foundation raise? I'm looking at, I want to know total. It says right here, I got from 2015 in the Washington Post. It says 41 years, $3 billion. See, dude, we're in a new age now. Like that used to be big time corruption, $3 billion. Now they're like 3 billion. Jesus. Better add a couple zeros to that if you want to impress me. Arm Gardner, thank you for the super chat. Zelensky told Brett Baer, the Ukrainian people decide if I am their leader. Meanwhile, his government is postponing the election for years now. I know. It's hilarious. It's exactly like every single political leader that we say we don't like. Oh, look at that. They're just delaying the elections for blah, blah, blah. You're like, give me a break, you guys. Delaying the elections because you think that maybe it might not go the way you want it to. And you have the current government that you want in there now, right? And we're going to sacrifice their men and boys to fight a war that, we can have some kind of plausible deniability about because we don't act, it'd be cool if they win, but it doesn't really matter. Someone say something about millions of people violently killed. Listen, I've got news for you. We don't care about that because we're the deep state. But yes, hypocritical and really stupid. Thank you, Arm Gardner. I appreciate you. DC. Okay. Maxwell and Ghislaine's father worked with everybody knows that he worked with the Mossad. Fauci's father is Mother Teresa. It's funny. I did watch a documentary about where his family lineage was, and I never went and verified whether or not it was true because it was very outlandish, but I actually don't know if it was or not. But so I won't even say it because I don't want to spread misinformation. But if it is true, bad. They flew listen, dude, you can super chat me whatever you want and I'll keep reading them, but I don't know what this is not, if you're trying to convince people of Israel's of anything Israel, I don't think you're going to have a lot of success in 2 sentences. I appreciate the super chats though. I really do. They flew the Egypt flag on the USS Liberty. There it is to get us to attack Israel. Go watch interviews with soldiers on board. Don't be a little goy. I don't know what a little goy is. I've watched the interviews. I saw it when Candace had it on. I assume at the same time that you saw it. What? Oh, weird. Wait, what? Attack Egypt. Oh, okay, I see. Attack Egypt. All right. Anyway, all right, now I'm over in the regular chat. I had a lot of super chats to catch up on. Okay, hey, Jesse, I talk with people in Ukraine daily, so I know the stuff. If there were elections, Russia has threats to send drones. Plus, right now, ask any Ukrainian, and they still. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Like I said, I'm just saying, I'm talking about propaganda is what I'm saying. And if we didn't like Zelensky, what they would say about it. I'm not saying that it's necessary that I'm just saying they would be like, oh my gosh. I mean, he's saying he's not even going to let them have their democratic process. It's a banana republic. Now it's just a banana republic. And you could give them a very, an actual well-founded answer. And if they didn't you're like, nope, actually I'm in Ukraine, multiple cities and multiple political persuasions. They're all behind Zalinsky, and we're not doing elections because people can't go and be on stages places because Russia will kill them. You can carry a bomb with a $50 drone now. It's not possible. And they'd go, oh God, you got to get out of that MAGA verse. They're just feeding you misinformation. You're like, it's not misinformation. I'm literally on the ground in Ukraine. No, you're not. Okay, sir. And we're going to need you banned from Twitter. Gaslighters. Ukraine kidnapping men and making them fight. Yes, awful. Horrendous, in fact. That's one of those, again, I've never had to organize a war as a leader of a country. But giving that order, that one hurts, man. You know what I mean? That one hurt. That to my civilized brain is that's a fucking hard one for me right there. It's like, we need soldiers. Tell them they have to get up. Tell them they have to do this. This is their country. Well, they don't want to. Go grab them. Fucking grab them. Grab them, put a weapon in their hand, put them at the front lines. Don't give them a choice. You know, I don't know. I know a lot of you guys are kind of wired like me, and I assume that you, like I do, have, recognize that we're not like, there's a lot of men that are not like us at all. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? It's like, do I respect a person who has trained to make themselves into a very capable, violent threat that can, effectively dispatch of other humans in the event that they're a threat? Of course, I respect that, as long as that's something that they control. But I don't have a lack of respect for people who are just like normal fucking guys that are just living their life and kind of go through life knowing that if someone wants to take something from them, they're probably going to be successful. And like going out and finding guys like that wouldn't defend themselves if someone fucking pickpocketed their wife. I mean, I don't respect that, but you know what I'm saying? Like going in fact and sticking a fucking gun in their hand and throwing them in the front lines. I would be shitting my pants if I was thrown into a van and thrown into the front lines. Absolutely terrified. And I don't think there's like, if you were like, hey, what percentile is Jesse's like, baseline personality for finding themselves in that situation? I'm much more wired for it than 99% of other dudes. And I would be so fucking scared. I can't even imagine. And you're to take these guys and just throw them in there. That's a hard one, dude. Saving Israel for last or bowing down like they little go. If you watched the interviews, all of them said they knew who they were attacking. All right. Well, I guess I've got a lot to learn on the USS Liberty. I'm definitely going to look deep into that because I feel like the official story doesn't make any sense. It makes much more sense if Israel intentionally did it, because then, the biggest military in the world that was protecting them might stop protecting them, might even turn them into a target. So it makes perfect sense for them to do that. Or not. It actually makes no sense at all, but maybe. If that dude is Mossad, they have lowered recruiting standards. I don't mean that like as a dick or anything. I'm just, like, DC is one of my regulars. I'm not talking shit, but I don't agree that it's likely they did it on purpose. I mean, doesn't it, I mean, to the people in the chat that are American, like, doesn't it bother you when we make promises to other countries and then we don't do it? Like that actually bothers me. I don't like it. Now, if we've made a shit deal, then renegotiating all day. I'm with that. But especially when there are people that like, especially when there are a lot of people who are dying on the, behind a promise that we made, I don't like it. Now, to be clear, I am not in any way saying we should continue to send money to Ukraine because we promised, some deep state actor promised them we would without going to fucking, to the people. Even if Congress passed it, all of those things that they did, that's one of those things that they didn't let us have any say in that because they knew we would fucking vote against it. Hey, you want to send $150 billion to Ukraine? Huh? No. No, I don't. I don't think we should do that. But, and I agree with you 100%. I really don't like, that's what I'm saying. Trump's main purpose right now is unfucking all this stuff that is put in place by corrupt, bad actors. And like, bottom line, we're going to break some eggs initially while we undo that stuff. It's just, I guess there's still that lingering part of my brain that was once Democrat that, like I wish things were this way, like I wish that we could just give everyone in the world everything that they want, let's just end world hunger and blah, 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 blah. But then, the grown-up version of me is like, and you can't do that because here you go. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that's unfortunate. I can still feel bad for the people though, Yeah, dude, the thing with the eggs, Mandy, the thing with the fucking eggs right now, where they're like, oh, look how the MAGA people don't even care about egg prices now that Trump's president. Look at the egg prices. They're out of control. It's an $11 dozen eggs. Hey, now the MAGA guys don't care about eggs. And you're like, this is your big gotcha? Trump's been president for 11 seconds. You really think that policies that Trump has enacted right this second are why eggs are $11? Like, give me a fucking break, man. It's just so dumb. It's so dumb. And exactly, the prices were that was the narrative that they put out there to try to like explain how they got smashed so hard in the election. They're like, I mean, the Democratic Party just was up against middle America that is trying to make ends meet, man. And they can't afford the groceries. They can't afford the groceries. And so, mostly Trump's fault because he caused the inflation somehow. They voted against their interests and they voted in Donald Trump because they can't afford their eggs. And then you watch X and all these leftist fucking retards are on there like, you know what? Okay. If you can't afford eggs, get a better job, you piece of shit. Okay. If you can't afford eggs, get a better job. You homophobe, racist. Okay. I'm done with you MAGA people. I'm not going home for Christmas because my parents voted for MAGA. And you're like, it seems like in this conversation, one of us has a functioning brain that is still living on this planet, and it is definitely not you, bud. Oh, look at you. You're winning. Yeah, you're winning some war that you're fighting against yourself by not going and having dinner with your family on Christmas because they voted for MAGA. Hey, definitely keep watching your television program, so you fucking idiot. Hey, I've got some Kool-Aid for you over here, dude. All you furious leftists. Listen, if you drink this Kool-Aid, right, it's going to make you feel all better. Kamala, she's the one who made it. Purple Kool-Aid. She made it herself. She says you'll be just as good at public speaking if you drink her Kool-Aid. All of them just one by one go and just fucking drink it and die. And you're all, well, that's the most gullible group of fucking idiots on earth. Egg report, egg prices, high rent. Okay. Listen, DC, as much as you want to pay to get platformed, you can. I don't think anyone knows what this means. So egg report, egg prices, high, rent a chicken. Egg report, egg prices high, rent a chicken. Greg, what's up, Shoe? Greg Schuster, you guys, won one of the raffles and got a signed Jordan from Jesse on Fire. It says to Shoe, and I can't remember what else I wrote, and then I signed it. And that was 3 years ago, and I remember that because I remember my people. Schuster, what's up, man? 3.9 years into Biden presidency, they were blaming Trump for inflation. 3.9 seconds into Trump 2.0, they demand you have it fixed. Exactly, dude. Exactly. Yeah, I know. Stone ignorant. Except I don't think so because I straight up said at the beginning that I don't know. I'm no expert. So I think you can only be ignorant like if you, well, no, I guess, yeah, I mean, voluntarily ignorant. I'm curious what you mean, though, because if I preface it with like, I'm not an expert on this and I'm not even pretending to be, then I don't know what I could have said that I'm shaky on. They're forcing farmers to kill their entire flocks, even if the birds are healthy and eggs are disappearing. They are stealing eggs. I mean, I saw that one thing a handful of months ago where they, I can't remember how many chickens died, but I remember it was like, I can't remember, a lot, like a lot. Balthazar, you better behave yourself, bud. Okay, you behave yourself today. But what's up? 80% of Ukrainian government positions are held by Jews. That's a interesting statistic. Weather report, magic acorn. How hot was it April 7th, 12,000 BC? Listen, dude. Like I said, you keep on sending those super chats, bro. You can say whatever nonsense you want, dude. This is a good one. A lot of people definitely know what you mean. I am a big bro to you. That's why I can be like, hey, I know you were drinking hard during my stream the other day. Just keep it in check today, bro. What's my take on the Epstein BS? I talked about this earlier. Basically, as quick as I can recap it, because I did talk about this ad nauseum, is I think that the real evidence is not like being held by the institutional FBI. I think you're talking top of the food chain FBI took possession of all of that stuff and fucking probably has it in some indescript like storage unit somewhere, and no one knows where that is. And we're never going to see the real stuff. I would be blown away if we saw the real stuff. It's not impossible. But like, you got to ask yourself, why did Pam Bondi do the thing with the binders? Like the only way that was smart, because I don't know what the hell she was doing, but if she did that to build public outrage at the FBI in New York because she knew they were withholding stuff, that's smart, where she's like, hey, yeah, we got the Epstein stuff, gets everybody all riled up, gets attention all in one place. Basically a marketing. It's literally just marketing. And then she's like, hey, come on out. And it explains why they would like have like libs of TikTok and shit out there. Like people, you're supposedly giving up like this incredibly high level scandal in the United States. They're all, who should we invite? They're all libs of TikTok. Like, I love libs of TikTok. It's just weird that those were the people who were kind of there. You know what I mean? Versus, I don't know, people with government experience. Like this is the biggest story in history. But, she kind of went to people who have big reach, but not necessarily like deep, long-standing ties in intelligence and stuff. Anyway, it's not here nor there. Bottom line is the binder was filled with fucking nonsense, shit we already knew, and then a bunch of blacked out pages. So if she did that specifically to get everybody riled up to where we're like, give us the real files, so that she can go to Kash Patel and be like, go to New York and get me the real files. And this was all a coordinated thing to actually get the evidence. Very smart. Otherwise, dumb as fuck, because it makes them look, half the job of the government, honestly, is to just appear to the population like they have control of everything. You know what I mean? It's just like to make it look like they have control of everything. And in a lot of cases, that is not the case, like the UFO thing where they're like, yeah, we're waiting for this public disclosure. We want the United States to tell us everything they know about UFOs. And it's probably very likely that they have some evidence that we're unaware of, if, assuming the phenomenon is real, which I believe it is. They probably have some incredible videos, but like, hey guys, what are these things for real? Like, what are these things for real? I honestly think the likelihood that they have any more solid knowledge than anyone else is absurd. If you really read the stories about the really credible sightings, you're like, why would any other human have any better insight on how the fuck that's possible? You know what I mean? It's like, how else? So the craft was here, and then it was 80,000 feet in the air in space in 1 second. What's in there? You're like, hey, you're in the high level government, man. What's making that thing go? They're like, well, I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. You're like, but oh yeah, we know. How do you know? We just do, man. We're the government. I don't think that they know. I think that they know it's real. I think that there's probably a bunch of evidence, like video evidence that we haven't seen. But I would be shocked if they were like, yeah, it's from this other galaxy over here or whatever. Like, how the fuck would they know? DC, we're all slaves who work for free pieces of paper. Well, free pieces of paper that we can exchange with other, what did you call us? Slaves for goods and services. So, but just for the record, slaves do not get paid, paper or otherwise. That is what makes them a slave, just for the record. Slaves are forced to work because if they don't, they get beaten or are neglected food, generally. As I've understood it, Trump has the real files. Believe that the FBI can try all they want to protect themselves. And Jesus. Okay. Like, can't trade eggs. They're expensive. You know what's funny about that is I've always thought that the concept of gold being this universal currency to fall back on, it's like, okay, so the fiat currency system breaks down. Now what do we do? And it's like, oh, are we going to go to physical gold or are we going to go to cryptocurrency or what are we going to do? Like if you take digital currency out of the conversation, right? And you just go precious metals. It's like, all right, well, there's no more paper money. Well, now we go back to gold. And I was always kind of like, why would gold have any more inherent value than anything? It's a fucking shiny rock. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so the current system works because we've all agreed that this piece of paper buys you this, right? It's a piece of paper. It's like, well, don't worry. If that falls apart, we can go back to the rock system. Like here's a rock. I'm like, can I eat this rock? Nope. Can I start a fire with this rock? Nope. Can I use it to help me locate something that will help me survive in any way whatsoever? No. We just, trade it amongst ourselves for things that are important for us to, survive. And you're like, so it's exactly the same as paper money. They're like, well, except that there is a finite amount of it, right? Paper, as long as there's still trees we can chop down and, destroy the planet, as long as there's more, we can create more money, whereby gold, you have to go find it. You're like, so digital Bitcoin is the digital version of that. That's correct. Right. But again, the whole thing relies on everybody agreeing to the fact that we just trade this stuff for that. Right. So it's all the same then. It's all the same, which is weird. No. The Louisiana Fauci lawsuit, he's not facing charges for murder, manslaughter, and a bunch of other crimes. I literally just did a video on this. He is there was a letter requesting like a what do you call that? God damn it. It's a group it's basically demanding that they prosecute him for those things. The thing that's much more likely of him actually getting charged with is in that 17-state agreement where they've all agreed to share information and to prosecute Fauci at the state level. And there's a lot of people who want to see that guy go down. And the most important person in that equation is RFK, who controls a $1.7 trillion budget. So something tells me he's going to take that $168,000 that was going to go to the Fauci Museum at the NIH, and that's going to be the first $168,000 dedicated to investigating that guy and putting him in prison. Shoe, what's up, my man? My favorite shoe for my favorite shoe. Oh yeah, my favorite shoe for my favorite shoe. Still on the mantle in the man cave, brother. Yep, that sounds right. Thank you for the super chat, good sir. It's going to be XRP and XLM backed by fake gold and silver. Maybe. I mean, I don't even know XLM, but XRP, I was always bullish on XRP. I don't own any of it now. I owned it, sold it, and then, but I've always been bullish on XRP because when they first launched, they came out of the gate with a partnership with American Express, if I remember correctly. And I mean, common sense, the reason that Bitcoin or any of these cryptocurrencies have value is exactly the same as why gold has value, just because humans have agreed that we will trade this currency has value. So the ease with which you can exchange, whatever currency you have is going to make a big deal in a situation like this, where it's kind of a free for all with all these different currencies. Like the reason why, or not the reason, but one of the reasons why the central bank was created, at least one of the is to get a single currency. There used to be all these different currencies in the United States, and crypto's kind of like that, but again, the reason I was bullish on XRP is because they basically partnered with a company that already has infrastructure that makes it easy for people to pay for things with that cryptocurrency. And that is very likely to, make it stickier because it's functionally better day to day for like your average person or whatever. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Bitcoin has gotten its ass handed to it, man. Actually, well, all the crypto has. Seems like it leveled out a little bit. But I mean, it went from 104 to like 85 or 107. Hang on, let me see what. Yeah, 109 high to 85. It's probably actually a good time to buy. Even if it goes down again, does anybody seriously think that Bitcoin will be lower than $85 in 2 years? I don't. Yeah, crypto. Yeah. Hang on. Cryptocurrency is only a certain amount. It's limited. The more people buy into it, the more the currency is worth because of that's exactly right. The fiat currency system where you can just create more and more and more and more is there's never been a fiat currency system that's ever survived like permanently. Like they always collapse. But that said, every country, every superpower has always collapsed. I don't really know. Again, this is one of those things I know, like super high level, superficial stuff about like the longevity of fiat currency in different civilizations. But like what I know for 100% sure is every time that we create more money, you're devaluing the money that people have. Now, the vast majority of people don't have savings. I don't know. Actually, let me see what that percentage is. Like, what percentage of Americans have savings? 29% of Americans have some savings, but not enough to cover 3 months of expenses. Okay, so 27% of US adults have no emergency savings at all. 59% of US adults are uncomfortable with their level of emergency savings. 36% of US adults had more credit card debt than money saved in an emergency. Yep, I believe. I mean, more than half of Americans working full-time, part-time, or who are temporarily feel behind on their retirement savings. Nearly half American households have no retirement savings. Hey, shocker, guys. Older Americans tend to have more cash in the bank than younger. But yeah, I mean, my point is like, if you have statistics like that, where the vast majority of people don't have savings, then they don't care. Like, and honestly, it's not like they're like people with no savings are making monetary policy, but I just mean like, if you just save money and you don't put it to work, like that's why they're always like, you need to put your money to work. Is because if you just let it sit in a savings account, every time that we print more money, it's just devaluing your money. Your money's doing one. It's either going up or going down every day. It just depends on where you have it, Oh shit. Did the fight start? Really? But anyway, let's see. It's never too late to start saving money. And the thing about it is, though, is like, it's very hard to like, it's hard to start saving. At least for me, was very hard to start. Like, I never was good at like saving a little bit at a time and watching it build up. This is not how my brain works. You know, like I had to like get a big chunk of money and then save it. You know, like I'm just not built like that where it's like, oh, I'll put $50 a day over here and let's just watch it build up. Like, I don't know. My brain just doesn't work like that. But what I am good at saving money just because when I look at money in a bank, like I just change what my baseline, like comfortableness, like how, like what amount makes me feel comfortable. And then like, if I drop below that, then I feel broke. And so I don't buy shit because I would just rather have the money. I mean, I buy shit, but like, I just always tell people if they get money for something, like more money than they normally have, let that shit sit for 90 days, dude. Just fucking let it sit for 90 days. Get used to having it and then make a decision if you want to buy shit. Oh, good. Heath Moore. Oh, wait, let me look at that picture. Oh, that's cute. Are you talking about me in my own fucking stream? Because if you are, the entire chat is like, yes. Got one. Stepping up to the plate. And for the first time ever, has a picture with their shirt off to accompany them talking shit. This has never happened before. I'm about to get mean if you confirm that you're talking about me. Or you could be like, I was talking about that guy and I will apologize. You know? Anywho, while we wait, let's look at other stuff. What time is it? 3:45? That's probably enough on all this. I'm gonna jump. Yeah. This dude just came in and talked shit and then left. Ugh. Come on, man. I like to close my show with someone being an asshole. But they can't be doing it on purpose because I sniff it out every time. You need to like really want to be an asshole because then it makes it so much more fun to light you up. He's out. I'm just sitting here waiting for him to respond. He's like, I didn't think you'd actually see it. Jesus. Fuck. I feel so fucking uncomfortable. He actually saw my chat. Silver gold ratio is 100-1 by silver now. I don't know anything about that. Like about the abundance of silver, gold, what's value. I know nothing about it except that you should have physical. If you want to like buy precious metals, you should like be able to hold them. It's I don't like the idea of being like you're literally buying it in case of a total emergency and you're all, but don't worry, like, yeah, I've got it held in some like external, like some wallet that I log into through that company's website. I've never seen the gold, but yeah, trust me, it's there. You're like, how are you going to get it? How are you going to get it, dog? Silver comes out of the ground at 7x that of gold. That makes sense. Oh, you teach on your channel? Nice, dude. You guys go check out Stacker Factor. Just like I'm about to right now. Watch this, dude. Boop, 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 boop. Stacker factor. Bam. Everybody go follow, dude. Oh, yeah, you do look like you look like the kind of person that would like my channel, like someone that I would hang out with. Sunglasses on the stream, dude. That's standard operating procedure when you're as good looking as us. Sometimes you got to flex, dude. It is what it is. Oh, thanks, Sig. See? That's all it takes. Just people like nice. They're all, hey, man. Whoa. Wait a minute, dude. Look at you sneaking in Pizzagate symbols over here. My kind of dude. Epstein over on the far right. I see what that is, dude. It's so funny. That's why I laugh when people are dicks, like, and they're obviously trying to get attention, you know, like they make me, I'm like, Jesus, man, you know how much time that must have taken to produce that video? You want to know what a fucking way better option for you would have been? It would have been to write me an email and said, hey, man, love your channel. I've got a channel too. Check it out. Like, I think that probably would have been a better approach for your fucking career than making 6 hours of videos, you fucking weirdo. And since we're talking about that, I saw someone earlier. They're all, they were like, God damn it. I'm not doing it. Never mind. Gold and silver has been captured unless the internet doesn't exist, future, whatever. I'm not doing it. I want to, but I'm not going to. What's up, Colonel Craig? How are you, sir? Created high inflation, sky high food prices on purpose. Oh, yeah, I believe it. 100%, dude. Dude, my buddy, he has chickens out here, and when he gives us their eggs, it is unbelievable how good they are. They're so much better than, and we get like snobby eggs, you know, like we get the, like, you know, free range organic eggs or whatever, but the ones that he gives us they're so much better than those. It's unbelievable. You have to be kidding me. The president VP are embarrassments to the country and the world. Elaborate, Tracy. I will respond. But like, give me something more specific. Anthony DeAngelis, thank you very much. Did you see Cape's last fight? He looked world class. Yes, dude. He did. He looked so nasty in that fight. I love watching that guy. He's so fast, dude. And he's so surgically, he's great to watch. And he's like showboat. He's kind of an asshole. I really like that guy. I'm excited to watch him fight. Thank you for the super chat. Can't wait for Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva. That's gonna be a scrap. Yeah, he accepted it in 1 second. That's a dangerous fight for Bryce, but if he gets a hold of that guy, he's not gonna like it. But Silva's got nasty striking, dude. From everyone in the chat, thank you, Sig Sauer. Cecil, Trump and JD Vance looked so fearfully. I honestly don't even know what that means. Jesse, our planes are based on technology from the 40s and 50s. You don't think they've engineered something drastically better since then? I don't know. Let's see. Current U.S. Air Force fighter jets. Let's see. So, I mean, these seem a lot better than the ones in the 40s and the 50s. Let's see so the number one is the Raptor. Let's see how this compares to like 40s.
Number 1, the Boeing F-22 Raptor. The F-22 is a fifth-generation single-seat, twin-engine stealth fighter aircraft considered one of the most advanced fighters in the world. It was developed in the 1990s as a replacement for older fighters. It made its first flight in 1997 and entered service with the U.S. Air Force in 2005. The aircraft is powered by double Pratt & Whitney F119P100 engine with a top speed of Mach 2 or 1,500 miles.
Hey, it only goes 1,500 miles an hour? Jesus. I mean, I thought we made things, I mean, there you go. I mean, I'm not saying, listen, dude, maybe we have other modes of propulsion. I'm just saying, like, I would just be shocked if we had a really strong handle on exactly what the UFOs are. I believe in the phenomenon for sure. I'm a big UFO guy. Stacker Factor, thank you again, dude. Zelensky got KO'd harder than Askren yesterday. Yeah, I mean, I hated that whole thing, man. Justin, thank you very much. I thought Trump handled it well because, Zelensky went there looking for a fight. And again, like I said, going at Trump like that is so dumb. It's just so dumb. You should know exactly what you're going to get. I'm scrolling up. Okay, so Tracy Hickman said they're the worst. I think I just saw her again. Oh, no, that's a different Tracy. So she disappeared, dude. I don't understand. I was being nice to her. I don't know where Mexia is, dude, but always look for 6 blades. 6 blades, and there's a lot of them in Texas. She really just left. I mean, come on. Anyway, they're just us. Or they're us, not all of them. You mean like future us? I am very on board with that option for sure. Very on board. That would explain a lot why they look like us, kind of, but then they just look like this weird, more evolved version. And that could be from, I mean, if that is what they are, they could be from a million years in the future. You know what I mean? That would explain why they wouldn't interact with us. They also could be from different, dimensions. I don't know. I have no idea. Or they could be from here. And when the poles shifted, they figured out a way to protect their civilizations. And they're literally at the absolute bottom of the ocean because the poles shifted and they know how to come up, and they never interact with us because we're dangerous, psychotic fucking species that would probably just blow them up versus try to learn who they are. Or they could be from Mars. Mars used to look like this. And then the, planet went whatever. The entire civilization went underground. So when we are looking at Mars, we have no idea that there's an entire underground civilization. We have no idea how the technology runs because there's some calamity on the, you know what I mean? There's just no way to know what they are. Could be anything. I mean, Zelensky was very I just mean Zelensky should have. Yeah, exactly. See, Zelensky was campaigning against Trump during the election. So he should have gone in there knowing. He should have gone in there knowing there is no scenario where you raise your voice at him. There's no scenario where you argue. You just say thank you and you're excited to work with us because that is you don't have a second option here, bud. That's why I think him arguing with him indicates that there is someone on the backside that he had been dealing with who is still pretending to have a lot of power and is telling him oh, do this, which could indicate that they're planning to kill Trump. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, again, there's no way to know what's going on. I'm just saying and maybe Zelensky is just stressed the fuck out from the fog of war and he's pissed that they're cutting off the funding and he knows he's going to have to settle. And the way that, he feels the way that America's handling it, it's taking away his leverage. And so he, when he's negotiating with Putin, he has no threat because Trump, what can he threaten Russia with if Trump has already said, we're cutting off your funding if you don't make a deal? Okay, well, now he's not going to make a very good deal because he doesn't have any leverage. Maybe that's what he's upset about. Or again, maybe old guard deep state told him to do that. I mean, it's hard to say, but again, I think he's an idiot for how he behaved, because it was inevitable that like he's going to get nothing good if he gotten into an argument with them. I'll check it out again, but I honestly, I hope that that's not what I see, because that will actually just make me upset, because like I said, on the other side of this, I can easily see this whole thing from the perspective of like this government that we were like, yeah, we got you, dude. And we put them up, and they're like, all right, I guess we're going to get in this fucking life or death fight because the United States has our back. And then like, different administration comes in and they're like, and you're on your own, And again, I think pulling out of there is what we should do. But it just, if that's what it is, you can understand why they would be probably more upset about that than anything that any of us have ever been upset about. You guys like this new ring I got? I got it for $9 on Temu. I was just curious, like, because my kids buy shit on Temu, and I was like, I wonder what you get for $9. And I mean, I'm never actually going to wear it, but I was pleasantly surprised. $9 Temu ring. I'll probably, end up with like liver poisoning from putting it on my finger for 5 minutes, but someone said Florida Patriot is smart, so I'm going to scroll up and find Florida Patriot. He says, he is smart, dude. Let me see what else. How much is dude already grifted? You mean Zalinsky? Probably a lot. We have time traveling right now, 1 second per second into the future. It's true. Dude, you know what though? You know what's crazy? Speaking of things that wouldn't get announced to the public if it was bad news, does anybody else find it very crazy that we just all of a sudden just shut down everything we were doing with the particle colliders? Like they just shut them down. I don't know. I've watched all the stuff on YouTube, and I've read a bunch of stuff about what the Hadron particle colliders supposedly exist to do. And they're trying, we're trying to capture the genesis of creation at the electric level or whatever, the smallest bit, and create anti-gravity. And I'm like, why? Why? What is the functional purpose of that? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I've never understood. It's like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, isolated the whatever. But like, what's the going forward purpose of all of that? Because this is a pretty big fucking thing. The particle colliders are enormous, dude. When you actually watch those docs and see the like size and level of engineering that went into those, it's unbelievable. And you're like, and all these different countries are working on this together. And like, is there a place where like you guys, have some successful tests and all of a sudden there's like limitless free energy? Is there some part of this where if it's successful, some big weapon? Is there some like, what's the outcome that has any effect on the world? Because like, oh, we've captured antimatter. You're all cool. What does that mean exactly? Well, we all thought there was matter and then just nothing. Turns out there's matter and antimatter. Boom. Boom. I'm like, I mean, all right. Do you guys know what I mean? So when they stop, but people have had all kinds of crazy theories about what it actually does. And if what it did is put us into a parallel dimension, like a different, a different timeline, I'm happy with it. I hope they don't turn it back on because I like this timeline quite a bit. I wasn't very excited about my previous timeline. I would reference my previous timeline up to about 20, like my professional My professional timeline. I would call it like cock tease. That's what I would call my other the timeline. It's like, oh, this is the cock tease timeline where I'll just keep on getting to like the fucking edge of what I would consider to be success for this whole effort. And as long as I get over this right here, then everything's going to be golden forever. And then it would be like, and a fucking garbage truck ran over this critical part of this thing you've been working on for 3 years. And it's done, dude. You were right there. Yeah. We all thought you were going to make it too, dude. And you're all right. I could do it. I could do it. I did it. I fucking did it, man. And then it's like, no, sorry. This is cock tease reality. They took a big break though. I'm telling you, they did. Hang on. Okay, so they're saying that they restarted after a shutdown that lasted several years. So they shut it down for 3 years, dude. They shut it down for 3 years in April. The most recent restart occurring in April of 22. Okay, so this says they shut it down in 2019 and then restarted it in April of 2022. So it was like they shut it down for 3 years. I mean, maybe it was just fucking, upgrades. I don't know. Or maybe they realized they were destroying entire timelines and they accidentally destroyed the cock tease timeline and then created this one, which was the best case scenario of everything, except, of course, I would always like to have more money. Has anyone seen Zelensky play a piano with his unit on live TV? He did it on Ukraine's Got Talent. No way. With his dick? I don't believe it. Is that true? That would be hilarious. I've been saying that I'm going to do merch for about 4 years. I'm always planning on doing merch like next week for the last 4 years. But I do I want to start one of the things I've always wanted to do in some future state, which I actually will do at some point. I want to launch a clothing company, not merch. I want to launch a clothing company, but I'm not big enough yet to be able to self-market that to get it off the ground initially. So I'm not doing that yet, but I will once I am. He also played Biden with his unit. Oh, man. Oh, dude, I'm glad you asked. The first episode of the reality show where you're securing capital for your fantasy sports company. Great idea. How's the story play out? This is a perfect question for me to demonstrate cock tease timeline. So that TV show, right, was one thing that needed to break my direction was just Esquire, who said they were going to do the show, just actually do the show. And then we had a shitload of funding behind it based on the green light for the show, because obviously investors are not stupid. They knew that if you have a fucking television show that's going to give you, we tried to back into the value of the of that show, because at the time DraftKings and FanDuel they had raised a combined $700 million or something. The vast majority of that being spent on marketing. So we knew I knew I wasn't going to be able to raise fucking $300 million to market the company. So my cheat code was I'll go, Gabrielle and I had gotten married on a reality show. So I'm like, I have a lot of contacts in fucking LA, man. What if I could get a reality show made about this company? And that could be my cheat code, because all they're spending the money on is the mainstream marketing distribution. Well, I'll be able to create a TV show that'll be on just as much as their fucking commercials, and it'll be 100 times more compelling. And I can tie people to my journey because they're going to align with the brand, because they've watched me fucking bleed out of my eyes on this show trying to build the company. It'll make them more likely to want to play the game and support the company. And then I'll beat them all and we'll be the biggest fucking company in the world. And so I had everything all lined up. We just needed Esquire to make the show. And you've seen the show. Like, obviously they should have made that fucking show for Esquire Network. Like, I could feel completely confident. Obviously I have a very biased opinion, but I've never once in my entire life since having it had someone watch it and not come back to me and go, bro, that show was like legit. I'm like, I know. And in fairness to them, they went bankrupt, but they went bankrupt because they're retarded. So, but they went bankrupt. And so they didn't make the show. So once I lost the show, I lost the bigger funding that I had lined up. And then I had to sell the company I sold the company for $8.5 million. The vast majority of that was coming in stock. Company that acquired the company, though, before anything actually awesome could happen, that company, the CEO of the company that was acquiring us, got exposed having embezzled $30 million from his company. His entire stock went to zero. Deal fell apart. And then right in that moment, the New York Attorney General made fantasy sports for money illegal. And then Illinois followed suit, and all the little fucking Democrat states followed right behind New York and made the entire game illegal, only allowing it to be legal multiple years later after they, created a law where every company had to pay like a $70,000 licensing fee for each individual state and pay a larger percentage of your taxes to the state because they're allowing you to run a fucking fantasy sports game. Another one of the reasons that I was like, fuck these Democrats, dude, these corrupt weasel cocksuckers. Now, I know Jason Robbins, the founder and CEO of DraftKings, and he is one of the most brilliant strategic business minds ever. And I think there is a possibility that once the game was made illegal and he was paying for, he must have spent $100 million on lobbying. I don't know. Actually, I don't know numbers. I just threw that number out there. But they were spending an enormous amount of money lobbying each state. And I think I think it's actually 50,000 licensing fee in each state was actually fucking brilliant. If it was his idea or if they did that on purpose, because what it did is it locked out any small to medium sized companies that were going to start up and challenge them. Because like for DraftKings, 50 grand times 50 states. If every single fucking state took it on, it's what, 2.5 million, I think. 50 times 50,000. I'm pretty sure that's what it's. I'm going to look it up. And as much as you guys can make fun of me, because most people would have just pretended that they knew that off the top of their head without doing it. I'm not that kind of person, dude. Okay. I just want to double check my work. 50,000 times 50 is 2.5 million, which is jack shit to them. But it is a complete and total non-starter for companies that are just small and getting turned on. Anyway, but that didn't matter anyway, because as soon as they made the game illegal, all the funding completely dried up except for DraftKings and FanDuel, because all the companies that invested were in hundreds of millions of dollars. They couldn't just throw it. They had to keep funding them because they can't write off a fucking Fox invested like $250 million into, I think Fox itself invested either $250 or $350 million into FanDuel alone, just them. Anyway, and then after I sold the company, and then so when the stock went to zero, the other company stock went to zero, right? I had made some cash, but guess what, dude? I learned the valuable lesson that even if you sell your company, right, and a new company buys your company, and any debt associated with that company goes with it, obviously, because they acquired the company, so they acquired the debt with it. If you personally secured the loan, then that shit's still on you, even though it is legally their bill to pay. So you still have to pay, and then you have to sue them, even if they don't have any money. So on top of that, what ended up happening was I found out I owed $400-something thousand. And so I went from one step TV show gets over the line to the sequence of events that would have been the opposite of that. DraftKings is worth like $12 to $15 billion now. We had a better game. We would have had a TV show. Put me where I can actually strategically battle with them in the future state after we did a really big raise after the show. Right? But instead, show didn't go. And then it just doop, 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 doop. And the end result was me filing fucking bankruptcy in at the very end of 2015. And so then I had to rebuild my entire life from scratch. But, and I had to do 4 years working a fucking enterprise. Well, I actually should not talk about it like that. It was hell on earth to me, enterprise software sales, but it was only because I was like, I'll never do a thing like that again. And then I was doing that again and taking Bart to fucking San Francisco every day at 6 a.m. It was a tough pill to swallow, but I did it because I have children and a wife that at the time was not working. And now we went shopping for a house yesterday that I would not say the price for out loud because I would sound like an asshole. And I'm not saying that for any other reason than just to demonstrate that even if you get kicked in the balls and your life falls apart, if you survive and don't eat a fucking bullet, you could rebuild and win again. I wouldn't trade that experience for anything, though. Thank you, dude. Because that experience right there, the bottom, the real bottom, that's where my, like, the ego, like the way I think about ego, dead. And also, I don't think I ever would have even really understood what that ego is until it got killed, and then you realize it's like, you serious? I didn't know personal guarantees lock you in if you sell the company. Crazy. Yes, that's exactly what happens. Yeah. I didn't believe it either at first. The company is great. Glad you, thanks, man. Yeah. When I found that out, I obviously went and talked to an attorney and they were like, well, so there's good news, bad news. I'm like, oh, good. I already knew. As soon as he says good news, bad news, I already know. I'm like, I'm fucked. And he's like, well, the good news is that, yes, the acquiring company, which was called Latitude 360, it's like, it's on them. Like Latitude 360, it's theirs. But since you personally secured it, the bank can come after you. So you're going to have to sue them to get that money. I'm like, they don't have any money. And he's like, well, yeah, that's bad news. You're not going to actually be able to get any money. I'm like, so you're saying I really do owe this money, which was more money than I had, it was $400 fucking something $1,000. And, yeah, more money than I had then. More money than I had then. So bankruptcy, and then you've seen my wife, the kind of thing you end up unemployed, with no transferable skills because you've been doing the same thing for 6 fucking years and that industry basically doesn't exist anymore. And, you're looking across the room at Gabrielle and you're like, this girl literally could have had any dude on earth. And she made the catastrophic decision to fucking go to bet on me. And look at what she got, dude. A fucking bankrupt, unemployed dude with 3 kids. No fucking idea how I'm ever going to be able to do anything ever again. So it's probably about as low as a person is capable of getting. But God did that to me because this might shock you. But there was a time in my life when I thought I was much bigger. What's the right way to put this? I would have taken that success that would have come and it would have turned me into a very self-centered, like a piece of shit. Like I would have been a piece of shit. And most importantly, I would have lost my family for sure. I would have lost my family for sure. Absolutely fucking 100% for sure. Because if the show would have gotten made, it would have done well because it was a great show. We would have gotten the money. I would have been famous, like cable television famous, with a lot of money in a really valuable company, well known for having money, and I'm just absolutely certain that I would have like taken my family for granted. I would have fucked other women. Gabrielle would have found out. I would have gotten divorced. I would have lost my family for sure. I literally believe that is as certain as anything, which would have been the biggest catastrophe. That it would have been the worst thing that could have happened in my life. All the money in the world would not have been worth that. And I never would have even known that in that timeline. I wouldn't have even realized it. I probably wouldn't have even realized it afterwards because, like I said, with ego intact, I would have been a piece of shit. I would have literally thought that I was like, I don't know. I've outgrown my family, you know. I've got all this pussy coming in. Everybody's telling me I'm awesome. I've got a lot of fucking cars, so I'm good at hiding it because I know it's not a good look to look like I'm an egotistical, cocky prick. But rest assured, in my mind, I'm exactly that. I would have been a piece of shit, a bad person, and I would have lost my family. So we're all happy that happened. Also, it's much better to go through life absent an ego. Because that shit's the devil. Yeah. Everybody needs one, dude. But the thing, and also every single time someone says that, it's so funny, dude. It's like, I don't think you understand the difference between confident and ego. Not the same thing. But you know, the humbling thing is like, it's fucking is, I mean, very hard to deal, like very hard to deal with. Every day felt like I don't even know. Like the minutes were hours. Like I felt like there was an elephant on my chest 100% of the time. It was fucking awful. And then even when I started rebuilding for the first couple of years, like once I, got the job, and I was making good money at that job, but it was like for that exact reason. Like I had literally created this like idea of myself as a person who had like transcended corporate America, doing exactly what I want, had this amazing idea and I fucking did it. I went and raised the money. I created this thing. I got my own fucking TV show. This is all because of me. And, then like you're on fucking BART at 6:30 in the morning, going to a job, working on a team with a bunch of people who are younger than you because you have no options, because you have a family, and now you're a corporate dick, just like the entire, like everything you were trying to run from. That's what you are now. It's just everybody's more, higher. Like the people that you went to school with are like managers and you're like working for them now. There's no way for me to tell myself a story that I'm beating anybody at anything. Soul crushing. But again, crush my ego. Good deal. You're in that spot now, lost your, yeah, look, like it's a good thing, dude. The ego part. Because you won't grow it back. I can tell you that right now. That shit does not grow back. Not if you kill it dead, dude. Or not if it gets killed dead. Like you don't kill it. Fucking the world kills it. But like kill it dead, it won't come back. No matter what. Like no matter what. There's nothing that could happen. Literally nothing. My show could be as big as Rogan's. I'll be exactly the same. I am impervious to outside attention now. Because I love my wife and kids more than any of that stuff. AJ Blake, thank you very much, dude. I appreciate you. Any advice for drinking after working out? Yeah, water, dog. Water. We went. Yes, I did do Ibogaine. Definitely a critical component of this entire thing as well. That's a big chapter of that story too. Sandy, so we went to this house yesterday and looked at it and it was like perfect ish. Like it was like, okay, here's all the things we're looking for. It had all of it. But I don't know. It's basically exactly like the house we have now, except bigger and nicer. in every way. It sounds weird, but like it just felt very similar to my current house, even though it was objectively bigger, objectively nicer. It had other stuff, but I'm like, you know, I don't like spending money, dude. So it's like, if I'm going to spend money and get like, there, like, it needs to feel like there's like a bigger reason for me. I don't know. I mean, you know, it is what it is, but no, I don't think we're going to buy it. What do I think about the morons of USA saying they're embarrassed because Trump situation with the comedian dictator? I think that it just went very, very poorly. And I think, so I think that Trump might be one of the single greatest politicians in terms of understanding his base, you know, and what they want, which is exactly what, you know, at its core, being a politician is supposed to be. It's, you know, you're supposed to represent people. So if you have a great connection, okay, what do they want to see? What are they happy about, angry about, whatever? The only problem with that in this case is like, I think the base was always like angry at Zalinsky. And I see Zelensky as like this just fucking guy, you know. The deep state literally just like picked him. They're like, how about this actor? Hey, we made this work with Reagan. Let's just get an actor, man. They just deliver the lines that we give him. So they put him in there and like he just does what they want him to do. And on the other side of that, you have millions of people getting violently killed. So like, to me, my problem is with the people who do this shit. Zelensky's just like a, you know, kind of like selected piece of that equation. So I don't have any I don't have any negative feelings towards Zelensky, aside from the fact that they fucking stood him next to Sean Penn and did all this dumb propaganda nonsense with him. But as a person, I'm kind of like, he's just like part of the, you know, whatever. And I don't know. I just wish I wish he would have just fucking handled that better. And we, like, Zelensky would have just been nice. And then we make this deal and everybody goes home. We get the minerals. Just stop fucking killing people. Both sides. But, you know. When you say to someone, you're going to feel what we do one day, I would lose it. I'm sorry, dude. I don't know what you were referencing right there. I died going cold turkey off alcohol, survived a 9-day coma, been at rock bottom to friend. I am on my redemption arc. I was a bedridden veg. Now I'm upright, walking, help me work. Dude, congratulations. If I had some work to throw at you, I would, but that's awesome. People don't realize how, like, booze, you, like you said, you could you just go cold turkey, you can die. I am very blessed that booze has never agreed with my system like that. Like, I was never at any risk of that being a problem. My problem's always been opioids. My brain and opioids fit like a puzzle piece. So I can't take him. He'll go down as the greatest president in history of this country. And I was a Democrat who voted for Biden in 2016. I shook off the mind trance these libtards put on me and saw like, yeah, I mean, he is definitely off to a great start in terms of, like, because honestly, with the state of things and what everybody had done, like just like corruption on top of corruption on top of corruption, creating more corruption on more, to the point where, like, if someone's actually going to take a real shot at fixing some of this stuff, they just have to go in and really go heavy, like hard, a way that no other politician has ever had the balls to do. And he's doing it. And I just hope that at some point, because this first part's going to be hard, the Democrats are losing their mind. Like, I'm talking like the Dems on the ground are losing their mind because they're listening to MSNBC and they're like, their presentation of what's happening right now is that, like, I don't even know what they, like, what why do you guys think that Trump, like, why do they think that Trump is shutting down USAID? Or like, why do they think that Elon is going through and assessing whether or not the government is spending money efficiently or not? Or why are they firing people? Or like, why are they trying to downsize? Like, what? Like, I don't get it. Like, do they really think that what he's trying to like destroy the United States or something? I don't even know. I don't even know what rationale could there be? You really believe he's just like this evil guy who's like trying to destroy everything? You really believe that? It's just so dumb. But that's what they're telling him. They're telling him that he's in the pocket of Putin, and they're telling him that, like, they're so disingenuous and hypocritical. It's unbelievable. They're telling these they're like this, these guys, they've worked for the government for 20 years. And now that, they might be out of their job. They're getting emails asking them to tell them what they did, last week. And I'm like, wait, so now you guys care about people losing their jobs? It's like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's very unfortunate that people who have worked for the government for a very long time. And these are the kinds of people who these are not like, we're not talking leaders of the FBI. We're not talking about like people who are involved in government conspiracies. We're talking about fucking conservative people who were like, I'm not the kind of person that takes risks. I'm just going to go get a job at the IRS, and I'm going to just like have a job for 30 years and get a pension. And that's what I'm going to do. And then they work as just an American working for the government 25 years. And then boom, they get fucking axed. No, their experience is all at the IRS. They don't get a pension or whatever. And they're not a bad person or whatever. They're just a fucking person that just had their life get completely blown up. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't feel bad for that person, you're a fucking psychopath. Like, you have to have empathy for those people. They didn't do anything wrong. Like, you don't know their fucking politics, nothing. They're just a regular person who just had their life blown up. But at the same time, dude, this shit, it needs to get fixed. You know what I mean? Like, and as much as they are going to make it see, oh, Donald Trump is the blah, 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 blah. They're going to put all of this shit on Trump. And so that side is really going to believe that all of these stories of these people, whatever, and they tap into that empathy button, and then they point at that guy. The easiest way to get people to hate, like get someone to hate another person, is tap into the empathy and then point at the other people and be like, they're the ones who did that. There's no, like, humans have the strongest reaction. If you want to make someone not like it, that's how you do it, dude. Here's person, tragic story, and you go, oh fuck, man, that's who did it to him. And then they're like, fuck that guy. It's autopilot. It's like 1 + 1 = 2. It'll work every time. And then if you try to give them some context about why it was important to shut this one down or that one down, and you understand the genesis of this thing over here was this thing, and it's like, this is stone corruption and wasteful spending. Dude, we're spending, like, we owe $35 trillion, you guys. We can't afford this shit. We can't afford all of these things. Like, we're spending money like money isn't real. Either it's real or it's not. Okay, you can't. But all that's in their mind is this, like, this thing that is handcrafted with the sole purpose of making them hate Trump, and then hate us, and then hate us, hate all of us. Because they've done an excellent job of that, right? Of the, like, oh, anyone with Trump is whatever. Like, do you know how fucking stupid you have to be to buy into that? You don't have any idea how big of a social retard you have to be to, like, straight up hate half the country because they don't vote the way you are. Like, that's one of those things where I don't give a shit if a guy comes in and he's like, shows me he got 1,600 on his fucking math SATs. He's a billionaire. He's whatever you would normally assess a person's intelligence on. And then they reveal the fact that they're one of those people that genuinely hates every single person who voted for the other candidate. I'm like, you are a fucking retard. Like, congratulations. Hey, congratulations on your 1,600, dude. Congratulations on all those intelligence accolades. But you're a fucking idiot. Okay. You're not a smart person. Don't pretend to be smart, or you could pretend to be smart, but you'll never fool me. You're dumb. You're a fucking idiot. Like, you are you are not smart enough to see through the propaganda that has been infected into, that's infected your brain. Okay? I'm smarter than you are. I am a smarter person than you because I don't hate every Democrat because I'm not a fucking idiot. I know everybody has their own life. I understand. You're watching. I'm watching this channel. You think I'm in a cult. I think you're in a cult. Whatever. Okay? I am definitely not in a cult, though. I am just not. I am. Oh, shit. It's 4:30. I got to jump. You guys are the best, dude. This was really fun. I'm going to go watch UFC. Thank you guys for hanging out. This was really fun. We'll do this again maybe tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye-bye. I'm the leader of the JOF cult. Hey, dude, I will be the most honest cult leader ever. I promise I will not have sex with your guys' wives. I'm not going to tell you God wants me to marry your kid or whatever these other psychotic fucking people do. I'm just going to talk. You guys, hey, what's your guys' belief system? We think, I don't know. Think of someone that we think is stupid. That's our entire belief system. Anyway, you guys are the best. Love you guys. Peace.